Welcome back to the Doug Karns program here on All Noise Radio. All right, so we were talking about Ron Paul and his audio and how he believes that the Middle East hates us for what we're doing and not who we are, which is completely wrong. Now, for what we're doing over there, maybe they probably add that into the mix of things, but it's because of what we are. Like they believe in Sharia law, which give women no rights. They have to wear their burqas and cover up from head to toe. All can be shown is just their eyes. That's it. If you're as a woman, if you're seen without a man, you get stoned to death. If a husband divorces you, you get stoned to death. And to make it completely fair to women, I don't know if you know this, Joe, but to make it fair to women, they bury you up to your head in the dirt before you get stoned to death.
Wow. So,
because if you can get out, they stop stoning you. They stop throwing heavy rocks at you.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real
Now,
fun.
but with men, when men get stoned to death, they only bury them up to their waist. So that's completely fair.
Yeah, I would say so.
Anyways, that's just a little side note for all those Middle East fans out there. So anyways, yeah. So this is what they want. They hate our way of life. They hate how we are over here. They hate how we worship money, which we do. Sadly enough, which I think we should get away from, but that's what we do. But it's all right to. If that's what we want to do, that's all right. They should have no say in that. But that's why they hate us, not because of what we're doing. That's probably added in as pissing them off just a little bit more, but it's not the main reason. So let Ron Paul go on here.
Though it is hard for many to believe, honest studies show that the real motivation behind the September 11th attacks and the vast majority of other instances of suicide terrorism is not that our enemies are bothered by our way of life. Neither is it our religion or our wealth. Rather, it is primarily occupation.
Side note, it's also because of our religion.
And our wealth. Yes.
Think of the Muslim. What was it? Do you remember the story, Joe? The pastor over there. They held him captive and said, "You need to convert to being a Muslim."
I remember that
because he's Christian, and he was a Middle Eastern guy,
mm-hmm.
but he was a Christian pastor, and they said you have to convert to becoming Muslim, or we're killing you. And I believe I don't think he ever renounced.
I don't know what happened eventually, but
yeah,
I don't think he ever converted.
Yeah, no.
So I guess he's just not there anymore.
No, sadly. But it's just that's how they function over there, and they hate Christianity, and they certainly hate Judaism with a passion. So it certainly is because of our religion too.
If you were to imagine for a moment how you would feel if another country forcibly occupied the United States, had military bases and armed soldiers present in our hometown, you might begin...
All right. He makes a good point here, where imagine if Germany had military bases over here, or Russia, or England. Wouldn't we feel a little okay, why are they here?
Yeah, if you can always imagine or figure out a situation better if you put yourself in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he does make a good point. It's not good that we're just occupying, but I don't know. It's just that it's not the only problem. The fact of the matter is that they hate our wealth, they hate our religion, and it's that we're over there constantly. But
yeah. But just to give
he oversimplifies it.
Yeah, but to give Ron Paul fans a credit that, yes, I believe we shouldn't have military bases in, sovereign countries that don't need them there. You know what I mean? We don't, unless they need help or something, then we can have a temporary base or something. I don't know, but put it in your shoes. Imagine up the street from your house there was a German base. Wouldn't you feel a little weird about that?
A little bit. Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to give Ron Paul on that. He's totally right when it comes to that.
To understand why foreign occupation upsets people so much. Robert Pape has extensively researched this.
But again, I don't know where he's coming from with occupation. Yes, we're occupying Iraq and Afghanistan, but I think we all can agree let's get the hell out of there because we're not doing any good there.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have been there that long anyways. Now, especially that we got Osama, we should be pulling back now. The only country we should be worrying about is Iran.
Yeah, I'm not sure, like, because he keeps bringing up, like you said, the occupation, but those terrorists on 9/11, it wasn't because we were occupying them.
No,
So
you saw it in their own writings. It wasn't because...
What's his explanation for that, then?
It's funny because if you look at their own writings, they never ever once said, we hate what they're doing over in our area.
They're Saudis.
They hate our way of life. That's exactly those 19 terrorists. That's exactly, they hated our way of life, and they're there to commit jihad against it. So
that just flies in the face. Of Ron
occupation.
Paul's
like, we're not occupying anywhere. Like, we're besides Iraq and Afghanistan, which like I said, this is what I would hope to see, is that we would just pull out of there. Still keep an eye on the situation of the Middle East, because once we leave from those places, people from like Iran are going to go over there and start tainting people's thoughts and turning them against us. But there's nothing we can do about that. It comes to a point where we're going to be at war with Iran someday. And you can actually kind of see the new axis of evil forming. Because you can see Russia making deals with China.
Yep.
China's making deals with Iran. And you can see how those three countries will have the interest of taking down the United States. Russia wants to be the new superpower again. China does too. And Iran just wants to see everybody gone. Yeah. So Iran will team up with China and Russia until the ends justify their means, and then they'll go after Russia and China when they're ready to deal with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can see the new axis of evil forming. Absolutely, and it might not be here tomorrow, but give it 5-10 years. And, I mean, Putin visits China regularly. And
he visited Iran. Or
yeah, and he visited Iran with
they're all in cahoots.
Energy deals. So, I mean, you totally see it. And this is why we can't let that go. And would you feel safe with Ron Paul dealing with that?
No.
That kind of situation? No, I wouldn't either. And you have to ask yourself, listening at home, that would you feel comfortable with Ron Paul? I mean, I know I wouldn't feel comfortable with Obama dealing with stuff like that. With, a new axis of evil coming up.
Well, he hasn't been too strong on anything foreign policy.
No.
I think he gets stepped on all over the world.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I would trust George Bush with that kind of situation.
More so than Obama, though.
Well, okay. But I'm saying Santorum, I would. He knows foreign policy left and right. And he especially knows the Middle East. And he specialized in the Middle East. So I would trust him with that kind of responsibility. God forbid anything happens where those three powers join together, because it could be one hell of a fight.
Oh, don't forget you still have North Korea with their new leader. You have Syria for now.
Well, and Egypt. Egypt's not gonna. They're turning on us as we speak. The Muslim Brotherhood.
All these new regimes in the Middle East. You have
Libya,
of course. Venezuela. They're
they've always hated us.
Yeah,
like Hugo Chavez wants. I mean, he makes friends with every single communist in this country because he wants to see us fall.
Yeah, anybody who's anti-American.
Yeah, it's so easy to see.
So we have enemies all over the world. There's no getting around it.
But this is why we have to pay attention. Like at one point, I was an isolationist to say, okay, just close up our borders, put fences up, and we'll just deal with ourselves and nobody else.
Yeah, we've already.
But in reality, you can't do that right now.
Yeah.
Right now,
you can't just stop.
Like it's so volatile right now that you can't do that. You have to pay attention because Iran is out there. Ahmed Ahmadinejad is out there talking about destroying us every day. He said it about destroying Israel in the UN.
Flat out, yeah.
Flat out in the United Nations.
And then the students from Columbia go out to lunch with him.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Nah. So what? He wants to kill millions of people. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from him.
Issue and goes in depth in his book, Cutting the Fuse, The Explosion of Global Suicide Terrorism and How to Stop It. In fact, of the 2,200 incidents of suicide attacks he has studied worldwide since 1980, 95% were in response to foreign occupation. Pape notes that before our invasion of Iraq, only about 10% of suicide terrorism was aimed at Americans or American interests. Since then, however, not only is suicide terrorism...
All right, so he's saying because we went into Iraq and the war on terrorism, it's actually boosted terrorism.
Yeah, never mind 9/11, the biggest attack on American soil.
But I know what he's saying, but anytime you start a war with somebody, we are at war with terrorism. So what is that going to do? It's going to rally their troops as much as it's going to rally ours. So of course it's going to jump up. Of course the number's going to double or triple or whatever, because now you got, Osama bin Laden and his crew, they're saying, okay, look, America's attacking us now. You know what I mean? Like, they're coming after us. We need to, ramp this up. So of course that's going to happen. You can't blame that on us doing something about 9/11. Like, we have to do something. That's like getting attacked at Pearl Harbor and then saying, we'll let this one slide. We had to declare war against Japan that month. We had to. You just can't sit there and take it and then do nothing. You have to do something.
Greatly on the rise, but 91% of it is now directed at us. Yes, the attacks of 9/11 deserved a response, but the manner in which we responded has allowed radicals in the Muslim world to advance a very threatening narrative about us and our motivation in occupying their lands. Osama bin Laden referred to us as crusaders with a religious agenda to convert Muslims, westernize their culture, and take control of their resources.
Now, this is where I kind of can agree with them, that nation building. We shouldn't be in Iraq trying to force our constitution, our policies. Granted, they wrote their own constitution, but we obviously sat there and influenced them and said, this is how you kind of have to do it. And we stayed out of it as much as we can, but again, my whole policy when it comes to this is we should strike, kill who we need to kill, and then move the hell out of there.
I want to see what he would have done after 9/11.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would like to see how he would have reacted to it.
Somebody should ask him that one time. That would be a very interesting answer. Then we could see what he would actually do. I mean,
yeah. Well, speaking of 9/11, before we go to the next break, there's this audio that we found about how this student for 9/11 Truth kind of questions him about what he thinks the truth is, which is the government planned 9/11 caused it. So let's just roll ahead. I'll kind of have to explain it because it's kind of hard to hear.
Okay. So we're working with scholars for 9/11. If you've heard of that. We're an affiliate. I've heard of that.
So Ron Paul says, all right, I've heard of your little school, students for 9/11 Truth. But he says, I've heard of that, but I don't know too much about it.
We're an affiliate organization of scholars.
First of all, this kid's like, we're an affiliate organization of scholars. Those scholars for the 9/11 truthers that we believe that the government actually blew up the Twin Towers. What an idiot. All right, we're up against a break, so we'll have to come back and finish this audio, but we'll be right back after this.